Right. Welcome back to Black News. And how are you all doing? What's going on, people? Shit in the no, hopefully not. Unless there is facilities things. Okay. Thanks. Darn it, and I had such good things to say about does a bear shit in the garage. Could be a really good OnlyFans page, right? That's a serious kink right there. Serious kink. Unless there are things constructed for. Well, I don't even know why I'm talking about this, but it's a good question, nonetheless. There are no silly questions. Some are sillier than others, but that was a good one. It tickled me. What's up? You're live. We're live. You're live. You're here. We're here. We're live on YouTube, Rockfin, Callin, Twitter. These are the places where you can find the show. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do it. And you should. Blackbird News, the number one. You should come follow me on Twitter. Okay. All right. People filing in. That's all good. Call in. Lines will be open for like 5 minutes. If anybody wants to jump in here, but I'm waiting. You're going to have to be early to the call-in to get in, and actually 4 minutes. I'm not going to take any more calls. So it's you. That's you, Poppy. I'm not out of focus. If you need more coffee, I'm meaning to ask you, Poppy, how's the farm going? How are things going on the homestead? How much work do you put in a day to keep your homestead going? Maybe it's a Oh, you know, it might be a StreamYard issue, or it might be a internet issue, or it might be just a streaming issue. Because to me, right now on my camera, I look nice and clear. So it might be how you're getting it on your end. On YouTube, might be giving you a bad picture, and I'm sorry. The picture seems to be pretty good on Twitter. If you really want a nice, clear picture, Twitter looks good. Just saying. Not so much work right now in winter. Yeah, it's going good though. Picture is good on Rockfin. Okay. Noise. Noise. If you're coming in on Rockfin, don't be shy. You got about 2 minutes to pose a question or give me some feedback on Rockfin before I jump into things, okay? And if you're on Twitter, I don't know. Yeah, you have to be a paid viewer to like do a chat thing. And I'm definitely not a paid broadcaster on Twitter. It's better now. It says JA. Okay, good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. It's weird. You got a new batch of chickens melding into the flock. Nice. Turin. Turambar. Hey, what's up, Turin? Rockfin video is clear. Audio is working good now. Okay, thanks, man. Or, 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 I don't know. I'm assuming you're a man, but you could be a ma'am, and I'm sorry if I. What is the national? What's the name? Where's the name Turin from? Where are you from? Turin, Turambar. It's in so many words. That's what I'm trying to ask you. Or maybe you're from here. Maybe you're in the U.S. I don't know. But what nationality would the name Turin be? Or what culture would that be from? I've never seen the name Turin. Tolkien. Is that what it is? Did I completely just fudge the reference? Okay, thanks. Nice. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Turin Turambar. Turin Turambar is a fictional character in Tolkien's legendarium. Man of the first age of Middle Earth. Oh, wow. His family had been cursed by the Dark Lord Morgoth while trying vainly to defy the curse. And you learn something every day. Thanks, Turin. I was like, all right. This Silmarillion. Dragon Slayer, Tragic Hero. I didn't read this Silmarillion. I've read lots of other Tolkien, but I didn't know. I haven't read that, so obviously I didn't know. But thanks for the heads up. I'll have to check it out. And people know it's from the Silmarillion. I'm just completely out of it. Okay. Thanks, guys. Y'all are cool. All right. Cooler than me. It's a Tolkien I have not read. All right. The jet stream is all messed up. Jeff Biradelli. With a tremendous and sharp temperature contrast across Asia. 150 degrees Fahrenheit difference. A wind forming aloft this Pacific jet will intensify over the weeks ahead and inundate the western U.S. with heavy rain and snow and very mild Pacific air across the U.S. through the holidays. So the Pacific is not going to get the overly temperate weather for the holidays, right? We're going to get some rain and snow, which actually would be fine. It's been a very dry winter here in the West, or at least in LA. Not in Oregon and Seattle, so sorry. Sorry for just including everybody in the West, but in Southern California, it's been pretty dry. Uh, don't touch receipts. Stop touching receipts. They're covered in toxic endocrine disrupting chemicals that quickly absorb into your blood to wreak havoc on your hormones, fertility, cognition, and countless other side effects of exposure. The Eco Center percent of receipts tested had BPS, which is a slight improvement from 84% in a prior 2017 study, but 80% is pretty overwhelming. They also found supposed safer chemical alternatives in 20% of them, up from 2% in 2017, but I think we should always of these safer alternatives. That's annoying if we're getting crackle. Did you lose audio? What's going on? How about the other platforms? Can everybody hear me? Or is it just Poppy? Okay, I'm just looking for a confirmation that it's not just like one person having problems. If everybody is having problems, let me know so I can fix it. Anyways, we usually that the safer alternatives aren't safe either, and they're sometimes even more toxic and persistent in the body and passed down to offspring. Sound goes in and out. Oh, okay. I don't know, guys. I can't. I mean, nothing sounds different to me, so it's hard for me to tell. And people might be having a different experience. And it's also, StreamYard is also wonky. I see that a lot of other channels have issues with StreamYard and the sound quality on StreamYard. If it gets as in and out, as in you can't hear it, or it just goes up and down, because that I already know about. I know that StreamYard, the sound goes up and down. But if it's like out, like you can't hear it at all, let me know so I can try and fix it. I don't know what to do about it. Dirt on the cord. There's no dirt on the cord. I don't know. Snap, crackle, pop. Okay, hold on. Is it any better? Please let me know if it's any better. Sorry about that. I don't know. That's the best fix I can think of for it. I just did that. I just unplugged it and plugged it back in. So let me know if that fixed it. Everybody, yes? Okay, good. We usually find out years later that these aren't safe, the alternatives, and they're sometimes even more toxic and persistent in the body and passed down to offspring. Passed down to offspring. Here's another health issue emerging, at least in the U.S. This is bigger than COVID. Why are so many Americans dying? And there's lots of reasons, so this isn't not necessarily indicating one particular reason, although we might look at that later in the show. Life insurers have been consistently sounding the alarm over these unexpected or excess deaths, which claimed 158,000 more Americans in the first 9 months of 2023 than in the same period in 2019. That exceeds America's combined losses from every war since Vietnam. Congress should urgently work with insurance experts to investigate this troubling trend. Wouldn't you think? They would. They would like to. Or maybe not. With the worst of COVID behind us, annual deaths for all causes should be back to pre-pandemic levels or even lower because of the loss of so many sick and infirm Americans, and that logic would dictate, sure. Instead, the death toll remains alarming, disturbing, and deserving of urgent attention, according to insurance industry articles. Actual reports used, or actuarial reports used by insurers to inform decisions, show deaths occurring disproportionately among young working age people. Nonetheless, America's chief health manager, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, opted in September to archive its excess deaths webpage with a note stating, get this, these data sets will no longer be updated. Well, if you don't want to investigate the problem or you don't want to figure out what the problem is, just stop looking at it, okay? And that will fix the problem. Alrighty. UN General Assembly votes overwhelmingly to demand a humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza. They voted overwhelmingly to demand a ceasefire in Gaza. The UN General Assembly voted overwhelmingly for a humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza, showing global support for ending the Israel-Hamas war. The United Nations demanded an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war, with over 3/4 of the General Assembly backing the move. Guess who voted against it? The United States, Israel, and 8 other countries voted against the resolution, while 23 countries abstained from the vote. Again, will this move the needle? Will this result in some kind of action being taken, or a ceasefire? Happening? We don't know. Well, going back to the record deaths, well, this goes all the way back to 2021. Killings hit record high in 2021 as post-lockdown stress grew. Also, if you're kind of paying attention or have your ear to the ground, suicide rates are way up in the last few years for various reasons, multiple reasons. The number of intentional and unlawful killings worldwide surged to a record high in 2021, driven partly by the stress and economic pressures of COVID-19 lockdowns. Gang or political violence, drug gangs, and economic repercussions of lockdowns contributed to the increase in homicides in countries like Ecuador, Mexico, and Myanmar. Latin America and the Caribbean had the highest homicide rates, with 8 out of 10 countries, with the highest rates located in these regions. Excuse me. Peter Dines, another climate monster, a.k.a. a tornado, hit Tennessee. Touchdown in Madison, Tennessee. They existed in the past but are now being supercharged and moving across industrial civilization, where chemical factories are now vulnerable to explosions. And we've been seeing a lot of those, but I don't know if they're caused by tornadoes, but they could be, extreme weather can be part of the picture. One of many factors that could cause disruption of business as usual, right? Global temperatures for September, October, November. Look at that. We've messed up the climate, says Leon Simons. Just moving on up. This right here says the global temperature is at 1.2. According to what baseline, though? I'll have to look at this a little harder. Why we won't know when we pass the 1.5 degree threshold. We're going to leave it a little bit, little obscure there, right? Just, I don't know when we're going to know. How will we know? Nobody knows. Some say it's already happened. Others don't want to look at it. Oh, I did see a post about the fact that I think, according to one outlet, officially, we're going to end the year at 1.46 or something like that. So pretty much, 1.46, you could pretty much call 1.5. So imagine that in 1 year, we went from, hope we don't pass this important guardrail to, well, we're at the guardrail. You know that climate change doesn't go backwards. I mean, I hope it does. In some part of my mind, I'm hoping there's a backwards lever for climate change, but I don't think it works that way. We'll look at this article a little more. A gigantic new ICBM will take U.S. nuclear missiles out of the Cold War era, but add 21st century risks. What could these be? And it's going to cost billions, almost $1 trillion. Cybersecurity is a top priority due to the complex software and connectivity. Well, you mean, so if there's like if there's a hack or an attack, or if the internet goes down, these new nuclear weapons could be at risk? Oh, great. That sounds like a perfectly sane thing to do. Get some more of these online. This is huge. This is absolutely monumental. We shut down an event honoring Exxon CEO Darren Woods. The whole room fled. We showed up and prevented this monster from uttering a word. We will resist him with all we've got. There is no choice. This is a pretty... let's watch the video. Let's watch the video, shall we? Since we can. Been having a lot of issues with the sound the last couple days, guys, so thank you for bearing with me. I appreciate it. Please don't yell at me in the comments about the sound, okay? I'm doing my best, right? It's very difficult to overcome the things that every other show deals with, right? And I'm one person. I can't even hear the problems that other people are hearing. I'm relying on the audience to tell me when they can't hear things, so just a little patience would be most appreciated. This is huge. This is absolutely monumental. We just shut down an event honoring Exxon CEO Darren Woods. The whole room fled, and I just read that. Let's listen.
Lifetime honorary CME member. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to present the 2023.
Darren Woods is a climate criminal. How can scientists be honoring this man who increases production of oil and gas every year? I don't care what he does to his own emissions. As long as production goes up, Darren, we're fucked. We're fucked because of you. You make $20 million a year killing millions of people.
Told us that it was our problem, that we need to recycle and compost. Fuck that. No, we need to end fossil fuels now.
Exxon lies and people die.
Let's be real. Let's follow the fucking money.
Students here, join us. This man is a sick fuck killing your future. This man kills people for money.
Stop worrying about colonizing other planets and protect this
People
one.
die.
And I want the freedom to be a human being without being fucking scared for my life, fucking scared for your life.
Why are we giving an award to this guy?
It's money.
This has been the CME STEM Awards. You're welcome. Good night. We're leaving now and we're complying. We're leaving the building.
Yeah, but that's after you fucking disrupted the damn meeting.
Exxon lies and people die. Exxon lies and people die.
Exxon lies and people die.
I love ExxonMobil. It's the best, the best.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that.
Lifetime.
Well, whether you think this is a real protest or not, It is true that there's no plans on. Right, we just saw from COP28. There's really been no plans in reducing fossil fuel emissions because we're not going to end the dependence on it. We're not going to end the production of it. Right, that's going to continue. And so it's just a bunch of like 3-card money, a bunch of sleight of hand, there's a bunch of like smoke and mirrors. How many other ways can I put it? Right? It's like, oh, as a woman in the video said, they want us to compost and recycle to fix the climate. Right? They want us to cut maybe our own personal. They want us to buy an electric car and an efficient stove, and that's how we can fix the climate. Not only do they not just want you to buy one, they might force you to buy one, right? We really, really must tackle this this climate emergency by eliminating, regular cars, or putting, more taxes on regular cars, and incentivizing you to, get your electric vehicle, right? That's not going very well at the moment. And everybody understands that, forcing people to buy electric vehicles is not going to fix the climate. In fact, it might wreck the climate some more. Not might, will wreck the climate some more. Because these renewable technologies are just as bad, if not worse, for the climate in so many ways. And it doesn't really end the whole like production consumption cycle, which is kind of at the bottom of everything, right? Right. They're forcing people to buy electric leaf blowers, right? And it's rather ridiculous, and they're going to incentivize. Right now, they're incentivizing like buying your efficient stove and buying your efficient heater and your efficient, blah blah blah. They're incentivizing those things. But eventually, they'll just force you to do those things. If you don't have money to do it, then what? I don't know. Or maybe they'll tax you for having the old thing. They'll penalize you for having the old thing. Why won't we know? So I actually didn't read kind of the joke part of this right underneath the headline. While the Paris Agreement aims to limit warming to 1.5 degrees C, they aim to, do they? They aim to. No, I don't want to double my gift today. Thank you. While they aim to limit warming to 1.5 degrees C, experts won't know when we have surpassed this threshold. They won't know. The experts won't know. A fact that could undermine global efforts to tackle climate change, scientists say. Well, wait, aren't the scientists the experts? I don't understand. They're saying the experts say we won't know. But the scientists are saying that this could be a problem. Aren't the experts the scientists? Why are they two different things? Why are they two different people? Well, on one side you have the experts, and on the other side you have the scientists. Who are the experts? Why are we listening to them? Are the experts like Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates? Are those the experts? I just want to know who the experts are, if they're not the scientists. Somebody explain. Please explain. Temperatures are creeping upwards, but they are doing so unevenly. Not every year is hotter than the last, meaning warming could reach 1.5 degrees before falling, and then rising again. On a monthly scale, it already has. Warming surpassed the 1.5 degree mark for 1 month or more in 2016, 17, 19, 2020, and again 2023. Well, 2023 it was like 6 months. Which, would make you kind of go, well, aren't we there? Excuse me. Measured across the entire year, 2023 will conclude, listen to this, 1.4 degrees hotter than the pre-industrial era. Well, isn't 1.4 awful close to 1.5? And how are we supposed to back up off of 1.5? How are we supposed to, not hit the guardrail if we're at 1.4? I don't understand. I mean, literally what they're saying is, well, it'll go backwards and it'll go forward and then it'll go backwards and it'll go forward and nobody will know what's going on, especially the experts. Because they're experts. They probably went to school for this stuff. And they know what they're talking about, and the thing that they know is that they don't know. The thing they know for sure is that they don't know. And if we're at 1.5, I don't know how we're going to miss 1. If we're at 1.4, I don't know how we're going to miss 1.5. It's unclear at one point the world will have officially breached the Paris target. By the way, if you notice, all this language is kind of setting us up in a weird kind of roundabout, like I don't know-ish kind of way of saying like we're at 1.5. That's what they've been trying to do. I mean, I've been reading these articles every single day for like years, reading them aloud, and I have a memory. I can remember things that I read and that I saw in the past, and use them to triangulate, where we're going in the future. And what I saw in the past, for the last 2, 3, 4 years, is that there were a few articles that leaked out there saying like, well, we could hit the 1.5 in the next 5 years. Right? When they were telling us 1.5, 2050. We can hopefully stay under 2 by the end of the century, right? Stuff like that. But then there was an article or two in the last couple of years that was saying like, well, we could hit it in the next 5 years. And then boom, 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 boom. Here we are in 2023, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, like several months in a row, 1.5, 1.5. 2. We got to 2 in the last couple of months, right? And now they're like, well, yeah, we're trying to stop being at 1, we're trying to stop getting to 1.5, but we're just trying to let you know in a really, really roundabout way, in a really kind of, mealy mouth, non-committal way that we're there, right? Anyways, the UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change says the threshold will be surpassed when average warming exceeds 1.5 degrees over 2 decades. Okay. But wait, hold on, though. I have questions about that. Will be surpassed when average warming exceeds 1.5 over 2 decades. But hold on, though. That's a long period of time to be, measuring the temperatures and averaging the temperatures. And if we hit 1.5 this year, we've hit 1.5, right? Like several times, most of the year. They're saying this year is going to be 1.4. Like, imagine how hot it's going to be, right, in 20 years, right? Because again, climate change doesn't work like that. It doesn't go backwards. Warming is accelerating. Warming goes faster as it goes up. It goes faster. So imagine like what it's. We're gonna wait 20 years to get an average to tell if we're at 1.5. Give me a break. I mean, we can't decide on what the baseline is. We can't decide on. Pretty soon. I mean, there are some baselines that are like 2020, or not 2020, 2000. So just the last, well, how hot are we compared to 1999? Let's use that baseline. Lightning Rod says Thunder Bay is already 2C over 30-year running averages. 2C over 30-year running averages. Yeah, and Thunder Bay, right, far in the north. A lot of Arctic areas, latitudes, if you will, are running like way over, running at like 2 or 3 C, right? A lot of the Arctic is running at like 2 or 3 C. Oh, averaged over whatever the last, you're saying 30 years, but I've seen other, averaging over the last, 20 years, 10 years, whatever. Right. And if you also notice over the last like 5-6 years, the Arctic, the North Pole, the Arctic, the far north, where the ice is supposed to be, we see several moments in the last few winters where it's at 0 degrees or warmer in the middle of the winter. That is not supposed to be happening. That is, I told you myself a few weeks ago, I spoke with somebody directly who was at the North Pole a few weeks ago, and they were like, it was cold, but it was like 1 degree, the North Pole in November, which is not supposed to be. That's not supposed to be. That's an anomaly. That's a huge anomaly. That's huge global. That's a sign of global warming, right? When the Arctic is at 1 degree, when it's supposed to be at minus 20 or whatever. If it's supposed to be minus 20 or anywhere in the minuses, to a large degree, minus 10, minus 20, minus 30, and it's at 1 in November or December, that is a frightfully large anomaly. That's, anyways. But you all know this. I'm explaining things to people that already understand this, generally. So, using this yardstick, it would take years to gauge success or failure on this agreement. I think what they're trying to do. Let me see. let me put it all together in my brain. I think what they're trying to do is tell you that they don't want to acknowledge this for as long as possible, but they're kind of acknowledging it in the article. They're kind of acknowledging it, but they're like, well, we don't really want to officially acknowledge it for at least 20 years, right? We want like a 20-year window. We want to tell you 20 years from now that we blew past 1.5, and 20 years from now we're going to be at like 3C. It won't matter because there won't be anybody to listen to this garbage. If it's going the way that we're going, in 20 years there will be very few people, there will be very few people on X or Twitter going like, no, this has totally happened before. According to paleo climate records, it's totally happened before. Anyways. Clarity on breaching the Paris Agreement guardrails would be crucial. That said, without an agreement on what actually will count as exceeding 1.5 degrees C, we risk distraction and confusion at precisely the time when action to avoid the worst effects of climate change become even more urgent, of course. But there's a lot of disagreements on what it is we can do, should do, might be able to do. A lot of disagreements on that. What we need is more nuclear. Bro, fusion. like all these people are like, yeah, that's it. Man, once we get these fusion generators going, man, it won't matter. Climate change solved. Like, all right. Better get on that. Better get on it. I mean, sure. If we find fusion energy, what will that do, though? Will it We'll have all this cheap energy, and then what are we going to do? What are we going to do with all this cheap energy? Are people going to be flying some more planes and flying some more, buying some more stuff? Exactly. G-Demmer is confusion. Very good, very good. There's a good song by Charles Bradley, if anybody knows who Charles Bradley is, called Confusion. That's exactly what I heard as soon as you said that word. I was like, yeah. Mr. Poole says crypto mining. Sure. We'll crypto mine our way to a better climate. We won't have cheap energy. They will. Maybe they already have it. Does anybody delve into that? The realm of, does anybody believe in the theory that the folks in control already have, really advanced technology, and we're still driving to the gas station? Fill her up. What else are we going to look at today? Oh, let's look at this about the receipts. I got the receipts on the receipts. Well, listen to this. This will scare your pants off.
For most of our lives, we've always been handed a paper receipt. You go to the grocery store, you get a receipt. Holiday shopping at a department store, make sure you get that receipt.
But there are actually hidden chemicals in many of those paper receipts that experts say pose risks to your health. 25 Investigates' Jason Law collected dozens of local receipts and was surprised to learn most of them contained a harmful ingredient.
How often are you still handed a paper receipt?
A few times a week for decades.
Probably at least a few times a week.
And how long do you hold on to it?
Did you ever stop to think what could be in that paper?
No, we have no reason.
You may not realize it, but there are harmful chemicals in many of those paper receipts, including bisphenol S, also known as BPS. BPS has been found to cause metabolic disorders, can be toxic to the reproductive system, and was shown to hormonally promote certain breast cancers. According to the Ecology Center, the EPA classified BPS as a potentially high hazard for toxicity in human development. 25 Investigates visited 30 local stores, restaurants, and gas stations, collecting paper receipts along the way.
Thank you.
Do you need a bag? In all, Cox Media Group's sister stations collected more than 240 receipts across 8 states as part of a company-wide investigation. We then carefully packaged those receipts and shipped them off to the Ecology Center lab in Michigan. The results showed 80% of the paper receipts contained BPS.
Is there a safe amount of these chemicals?
Unfortunately, the answer is no. These are not chemicals that we should have in our bodies.
Dr. Laura Vandenberg is a professor of environmental health sciences at UMass Amherst.
When we look at people who have higher levels of exposure, they're more likely to have metabolic disease, they're more likely to have neurological conditions, they're more likely to develop certain cancers, infertility problems.
Here in Massachusetts, 22 of the 30 receipts we collected came back positive for BPS. The results showed some retailers' receipts did not include the harmful chemical, including CVS, Starbucks, and Whole Foods.
Remember to grab your receipt.
Target says it fully converted to phenol-free receipt paper in 2020. Our station sent 6 Target receipts to the lab, and one from Jacksonville, Florida came back positive for BPS. We contacted Target for a response.
I think the best thing that we can do is say no thanks to the receipt when we can.
Vandenberg conducted a study in the UMass Amherst cafeteria back in 2017. She found people in the cafeteria handled their paper receipts for an average of 11.5 minutes, far longer than the exposure estimates from regulatory agencies.
They weren't just holding it between fingers, but it was on their palm, it was on all of their fingers.
Should it be banned?
In my view, this is a chemical that should be used for very particular uses. Should it be used in contact with food? Should it be used in contact with something that I get every time I go to the grocery store, the ATM, or get a plane ticket? No, I don't think it should be in those products.
The Paper Receipts Converting Association, or PRCA, released a statement describing BPS as a safer alternative to an older, widely banned chemical known as BPA. The PRCA pointed out there have been no regulations on BPS, saying, quote, today most of the thermal paper in the United States contains BPS. But what you are not being told is that BPS is used as a safer alternative. There is a simple reason advocates disingenuously refer to potential harm. That is, they have no actual proof of harm to human health. However, that has not stopped national chains from moving away from phenol-based paper receipts, including Whole Foods, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods. If you want to take a closer look at our results and see all the receipts that came back positive for BPS, I've compiled a list on Boston 25 News.
Okay. Interesting. Yes, I'm seeing a lot of comments about they're pushing this story is pushing digital, although this has been a known problem for a long time. Other people say, well, this is old news. Yes, it's old news. This has been a subject for a long time, but I don't know if it's necessarily just to push digital, although maybe there are always, 4 different ways to look at any given story, at least. But there are chemical components to almost everything that we touch and consume, right, and eat, right, as somebody mentioned in the chats. All the things that are sprayed on our foods and everything that we consume, right? There are chemicals in the packaging that your food comes in. Some of the same chemicals that they're talking about that are in these receipts, right? Same chemicals are in the packaging of the food, right? So, I don't know, just something to be aware of, right? Just be aware of it, do your best. There's also plastic. There's plastic, microfibers and plastic in almost everything that we touch and consume. This is also dangerous, right? So, just things to be aware of, right? All right. So, the show, I put it out for free every single day. I put it out for free on Rockfin. I do not charge any money for any access to any of my content. And so the show relies on your donations to continue going. And, many of you already donate to the show, but that, I need also, getting like a continuous flow of donations is also very helpful to keep the show going. I know that times are hard for everybody. I know that a lot of people are struggling, to make ends meet. We all are. I didn't, Delene. I didn't look that up. Hold on. I don't know. Hold on. I don't know if I'm even spelling it right. Oh, it's a food code. Is that what you're talking about? Collection of standards, guidelines, and codes of practice adopted by Codex Alimentarius Commission. The commission, known as CAC, is a central part of the joint. Oh, wow. Okay. I see. Yeah, I didn't look it up. I looked it up just right now. Anyways, in order to keep this show going, you know, your support is extremely necessary and appreciated. So just if you do appreciate the show, you are the guy. You are the people. The guys. You are the people that make the show run and keep going. And so anything that you can contribute would be greatly, greatly appreciated. You can contribute by Super Chat or Super Ray. Those take a really long time to get to me and have a big chunk taken out of them. The better way to contribute is the direct donation links, which I will show you now. They are also in the description box of all my channels. You can also send contributions by regular old post to a P.O. box, which is also in the chat. You can contribute by buymeacoffee.com/blackbearnews. You can contribute through Cash App at Red Llama Music. You can contribute through Venmo at Kevin Sandblum. You can contribute through PayPal, paypal.me/Kevin Sandblum, and you can Zelle me at Kevin Sandblum at protonmail.com. There's also Patreon, a Patreon link, and other ways to contribute. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today and every single day on these interwebs. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And until next time, peace.